How about this gentleman he's tall enough and got his hand up, so I'm going to get to him. Yes, sir. That's great. Go ahead. I couldn't hear the third.
In the Middle East.
Oh, and in the Middle East. I don't know that I would break them into regions. I mean, I understand your question breaks them into regions, but I think at least from my perspective, a better way to think about American foreign policy is, and if I can I'll try to give a short answer. Just preface it by saying that I think it's really important to deal with the crises that occur as they occur, but I think we really have to develop a long view about America's leadership in the world, which seems to be non-existent today, because I think without that long view, what's happening day to day turns into a crisis management mentality instead of a vision, and I think America desperately needs a vision. I think that if I can put this in the context of the responsibilities of the president, I think the next president of the United States is going to need to do, I'll try to do your three things, is going to need to do first, he or she are going to have to spend a lot of time around the world, not only meeting with leaders, but speaking directly to other people in the world to show that we embrace other views, we embrace people of all ethnicities, we embrace people who have a different faith belief system than many of us have, because that's what's great about America. We believe in that kind of diversity, and that we have respect for people who have a different view than ours. I think that's the first thing the president needs to do. I think the second thing is to demonstrate, I've talked about this a little, is to demonstrate, and you specifically asked about the Middle East, it's a perfect example, to demonstrate that America is going to engage to improve, not do it alone, but engage to improve the lives of other people in other parts of the world. When I was in Pakistan a few years ago, I met with Musharraf, who's the president of Pakistan, and I asked him this very question. I said, what would you have America do? I said, your people hate us, and they did and largely still do. You're a supporter of America, but what good, it puts us in a very difficult position, puts you in a very difficult position when you're a supporter and your country despises us. His answer was, our children are being taught in the madrasas, and they're being taught to hate, basically. And without a public school system, which we effectively don't have, it's impossible for us to do this. I think most people believe that the world investing in an education system that works in the Middle East would not only have an impact economically, but would have an attitudinal impact on young people as they grow up in Islamic countries. So I think that's the second piece. And then third, I honestly believe that the world sees us as the great moral force in the world, that we're the force for good. I'll go back to another very specific example. The Pakistanis had a terrible opinion of America. When they had their earthquake, we went into Pakistan and we helped. And it had, at least for a short term, had a real effect on the way, particularly that part of Pakistan, viewed the United States of America. That's, in a small way, an example of what's possible globally. The world notices when if America were to engage in doing something in Sudan. The world will notice if we do something about global poverty and about those slums I saw outside of Delhi. This is not an abstract thing. We have to, and it won't happen quick either, by the way. This is something that requires some discipline and some, we have to stay with it. But over time, the rest of the world, not just the leaders, which has been part of our problem, we deal only with leaders, the people in the other parts of the world, if they see America as a great force for good, if they see our character, our better angels, it will have a huge effect on how they respond to us. So my view is, I think those are the three things that the next president of the United States should do. And the United Nations, which you specifically mentioned, plays a critical role in bringing the international community to the United States of America.